Welcome back to United Sessions. Mr. Weesey Carl, I missed you terribly last week. I missed the joy that we have while we do this. I missed our fun audience interaction, but things happen. People get sick.
That's not what happened. Nobody got sick.
I got sick.
Oh, yeah, you did get sick.
Yes.
How you feeling?
I'm all right.
All right.
I'm good now. I'm back and everything, but missed the heck out of you.
Oh, shucks.
But I'm really, really happy for episode 15, season 3, that we get to come back with a guy. Again, I have a lot of exploring to do with this gentleman because he has seen...
Like romantically? Oh, nice.
That's up to him.
Okay, that's fair.
It's 2023.
It's consensual.
Yeah, but DJO, David Ortiz, became a huge part of my life, and one of the big things I want to unpack with you is like, how did that happen? And a little bit of an embarrassing moment for me. I can't pinpoint the moment where me and you became friends. I can just pinpoint the moment where like I started showing up, you were already spinning over at the tailgates, and we greeted each other in fraternal brotherly fashion.
I think we had chatted once or twice before, maybe like at Black and Yellow Bash or something, but we really had our first real conversation at the San Diego match in San Diego. We were at the brewery.
It's San Diego.
Yeah. Coronado Brewery, I think it was.
It was.
And
that place is great.
Yeah. And we had a great conversation. We talked, just about the club, and we talked a lot about golf, which hopefully we'll get to do one day.
Absolutely. I had a really, really good time in San Diego, and so I'm now coming to the roots of why I maybe don't necessarily remember that exact moment.
It was a great time, I think. It was wonderful.
From what I've been told.
Yeah. Welcome in.
Thank you.
David Ortiz, DJO. For those who do not know you, I think most of United Nation does. If they've been to a single tailgate, they know who you are. But you are the Curses DJ in residence. Is that an accurate title?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Talk us through it. What does it look like? How does that work?
So, and I remember that's probably one of the first few times I got to speak with you, David, was when you were Curse president and had the general meeting, the annual general meeting. And before the meeting, I contacted you. I said, hey, do you need a PA system for the meeting? Because it was going to be at Hall of Spirits in the warehouse area. And I thought maybe it'd be cool if they had a speaker system if they didn't already have one. And so I offered it to him, and he said, sure. And so that was the first time I got to meet you in person.
I said, thank you. I didn't just be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. And that's when I threw it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about having a DJ at the tailgates? All I would need is power. I can bring all my own stuff. Let's do this. And you were all, that's amazing. Let's do it. And then, of course, that was when COVID shut everything down and it didn't happen.
So. Yeah. And ever since, I mean, obviously we went through a whole pandemic where DJing equipment wasn't probably as useful to you as you would have liked. But beyond that, I mean, every single tailgate from then on is featuring DJO. You're out there, you're spinning, you're creating the good vibes. What's it feel like when you're out there and you just see random people you may not even know come up and just start jamming?
It's really cool. And it's neat to be, well, I don't want to say recognized, but when I go through a couple nights before, I, kind of jot down some set list notes, stuff that I want to, if there's it's a special event, tailgate or whatnot, things I want to include, or maybe there's some new songs that come out, or maybe there's something that I'm tinkering with that I want to put out there. I kind of try to plan it out as best I can and to be there in the moment. And there's people out there, they're not necessarily out there to hang out like in your area, but you see them, 100 yards away, and they're have their own little tailgate going on. They have their barbecues going. Maybe they're playing cornhole, but then you see them kind of bouncing their head, and some of them are dancing. You're like, okay, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And so that's what keeps me going.
And one of the things that we like to focus on this show is how individuals contribute to kind of that united family, right? Yep. And there's so many different ways that people do it. Players, obviously play, coaches coach. We do a lot of stuff here in the front office, but it's cool to have this other unique way. You contribute to the United experience every single match. What made you want to do that in the first place?
It was just a feeling. So I didn't grow up playing soccer. I didn't really follow it. Later on, as I got older, maybe college age, I started to follow the UNM team. They still had the men's team at that time. And then went to a few women's games. And then whenever they were good, of course, I would watch them on TV, and the occasional, national team, World Cup kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was about it. When we got a team here, I knew that we were getting a team, but then I had kind of forgot about it. Life was kind of crazy at the time. And then after about the second match, I saw the highlights on the, sportscast on the news. And I was like, I got to go check this out. So then I went to my first home match. Then I was like sold. I was like, okay, I'm going to be in on this. And then learning about I was like, noticing the group of people sitting behind the goal, waving the flags and setting off smoke bombs. And I was like, that's really cool. Like I'd never really seen that, personally.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the announcement about the Curse having the general meeting for new members, I was like, I'm doing it. Like I want to be a part of this. And so that's when I got the idea of, well, maybe I can actually do something and actually be more involved and kind of, maybe make some new friends and then, just be involved with it. I just wanted to be a part of it basically. And so that's when I approached you. And then ever since then, I was like, I just got such a good feeling being around these people, later on learning that it was the supporters group culture. And then getting to go to my first ISC, conference, and meeting new people, and getting some ideas from them. But that was it, man. I just wanted to be a part of it and just wanted to contribute in any way I could to the whole experience of, that vibe.
There's the tale as old as time, right? We've seen it time and time again for the people who have made this family so special, who have made this team so special. Like, again, not to reduce you to everyone else, but there's this common thread that goes through everything. I may not have been a soccer fan. I may not be a soccer expert. I may have never even done anything in this certain space, but I want to do something special and I want to do it with these people. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about some of those people. I know you have a great relationship with DWC, but talk about some of those specific individuals of your Black and Yellow family that brought you on.
Right. Like, of course, David and then RJ. And then through Curse leadership, meeting people like Lindsay and Jake Gutierrez and now Carlos Norio and then all of the people that are in the Curse now.
Yeah.
And the other supporters groups, like I know, Chris Walker. And
he just gave you a shout out here from Black Diamonds. Sup, gents, sub DJO, the perfect show to listen to while driving to Canes.
Hey, there you go.
I just came back from Canes.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
David is on cloud 9.
I am.
Yeah. Which David? We'll find out.
Yeah. And so just, that group of people that consistently go out to the tailgates and are part of those different supporters groups, just getting to meet them. And I don't know all of their names, but I know who they are. I can match faces and know what group that they're in.
You know how they dance.
Yeah, exactly. And so, man, it was like, and then once I got to do, the first couple, I was like, okay, this is, I kind of feel like this is where I belong. Like, this is my jam. Like, I don't DJ in clubs. I don't do any of that stuff. I did it a couple of times and it wasn't really like a feature. It wasn't like a dance kind of thing. It was more like kind of just being in the background for ambiance, happy hour kind of thing.
Right.
And it was cool, but I was like, I don't want to really do this. Like I have a full-time job. Like this is something as a hobby for me. I'd rather do something with it I'm really passionate about. And so this kind of came about and it's like, I've loved it ever since.
Yeah. Well, I've got an idea to pitch for you later, which is the Pets and Parents Dance Party. You seem like someone who's going to be.
Tell us more about that, please.
Really, it's pretty self-explanatory.
That's right in the name. One other thing I want to give. I've thanked you personally, but never thanked you in a public forum. DJO provided the sound for our wedding as well, and he did it without charging. We asked, we wanted to pay, and he would not let us pay. And
he seems like he has that vibe.
Yeah, we were over at Krauss Winery, highly recommended venue. We had a great time. It was beautiful out there. But it is intentionally not very hooked up outside, right? It's supposed to be kind of an escape, and you're out in the garden and near the vines and the beautiful flowers and all that kind of stuff. So DJO came out and he had his extension cord and hooked up speakers, and we had a microphone for our officiant, David Estrada, who was on last week. Everybody in my wedding party is coming on.
If you're curious about our guest booking strategy,
that's right.
We just showed you the entire book.
But yeah, so we had the microphones, we were able to do the vows, and everybody could hear, and it was perfect. So thank you for that. And I will at some point find a way to pay you back for that, even if you won't take money from me. I'll do it one beer at a time. Sure. That's perfectly fine as well.
We could just go let the air out of his tires real fast, and then you can give him a ride home.
I don't have a car right now. A couple people in the chat. Doral Motor says Puro Corazon, DJO. We have 2 turntables and a microphone from Robert Romero. Excuse me, 2 turntables and a microphone. There we go. Also, you're getting a lot of New Mexican comments. This is all bad from Jesse Barola. Lucas is sick in the best sense of the word, to which I would say all sick. Stacy Angela, I think you know her, says Umbers. So I think you're in trouble. But yeah, a lot of people see what you do, recognize it, and are grateful for it. Again, you're providing, not to use a cliche term, or you're providing the vibe of the tailgate, man. Right. And it's done out of the goodness of your heart. You don't get paid for this. You just go out there to have a good time. So thank you for doing that week in and week out.
Yeah. Thanks. And I don't go out there to try to like push what I want to play.
You're not pushing anything.
I really feel like
you're pushing
want to
vibes.
feed off the crowd and play stuff that people like, and it changes all the time because I feel maybe that day calls for something else, whereas maybe the next time it's going to be something a little bit different.
Your Pride playlist is not the same as your Blackout Night
Exactly,
playlist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I've made this metaphor, I think, a few too many times, but it just resonates so much with this community, which is the children's book Stone Soup, right? The guy goes into the community and he says, I'm going to build a soup and we're all going to do it for free. And he just throws a stone in there. And someone's watching and they feel bad. And they're like, man, what is this guy going to do with this soup? He's just got stone in there. Maybe I'll throw a couple carrots in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll throw some celery in there. And that continues to astound me and make me fall in love with this family every single day, that we may not have the skills of the players on the field or the strategic mind that the technical staff has or the abilities that some of the individuals in the front office have, but we can all contribute something.
Yeah. And, I've seen that when in this tailgate evolution that these fans have, we've undergone. And it's really neat to see how the supporters groups, as they, come to fruition, they, find their own identity, but then we all kind of just ended up back in that corner. And it's really neat to see all the different flags of, the different SGs and different scarves, but everybody's hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's, just having a good time, coordinating like food, and stuff like that. It's just a really neat thing to see, this group of people come together with, this unique, unity, for the love for this club.
The only thing that seems to be the common thread throughout all of it is togetherness, right? Like they may have different backgrounds, they may have different bents or different missions that they have as a supporters group, but that togetherness, the unity, to be really on the nose with New Mexico United,
right.
You continue to be a hub for that. And just quick side note, we get to park in different places now, but when we did park over there right by you, I often felt like you were specifically giving me pump up walk-in music for going in and taking care of the game day.
So DJ, I know what I would talk before every match day, and we'd be like, all right, Lucas is getting here at this
He loves
time.
Elton John.
Yeah. And so it's Tiny Dancer every time he walks in, and that's why you got that. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you to you both.
Want to dive in a little bit about who David Ortiz is and how you discovered this, what started as a hobby, but seems like it's much more than that to you now. How did you discover this? Did you always have a love of music at a young age? Take us through that.
You know what I did when I was probably in 5th, 6th grade. My older sister played flute in like her middle school band and then on to high school. And I went to a few concerts, saw her do halftime, for the football games. And I was like, yeah, that looks kind of cool. And so when the middle school band came to our school, we were on the base at the time. We were Air Force brats, and they came to the base school and did a little mini concert. They said, if you want to be in our band next year, just, make sure you sign up for the class or whatever. And so I told my parents, I said, sign me up. I want to do it. And so first day came, and right away I was like leaning towards percussion. I was like, I want to be a drummer.
Yeah, that was one of those too.
I did that and learned. So I got to give credit for my first ever band director, Mr. Cottrell Wren. He was trained at, I believe, Southern University. We were living in Louisiana at the time, and he went to Southern University, Baton Rouge, and phenomenal trumpet player. I mean, he was probably maybe 5'2", like 100 pounds soaking wet, but guy could blow a horn, man. He was really good.
Yep.
Introduced me to jazz and to not really a lot of things you hear on the radio. And so I immediately started to listen to a lot of different music than like my friends did. They would listen to a lot of stuff on the radio. I would listen to some other things, I could find on the radio, but other stuff that I would have to like maybe check out from the library on a album or a cassette or whatever.
Sure.
So fast forward, just kept with percussion all through high school. I played at UNM, was in the drum line at UNM, played in some of the orchestra groups, Wind Symphony, things like that, percussion ensemble. During that time in college, I was an RA, and they wanted to have a dance, and they were like, we can't get a DJ. It's, last minute notice. So they said, do you want to do it? And so I asked one of my fellow RA buddies if we want to do it together. And the UNM luckily already had all the equipment, and it was CD decks at the time. And me being a music lover, so you remember those binders that you would put all your CDs in?
100%.
Usually you had one in your visor in your car.
Yeah,
you did a 5 minutes shuffle through every morning.
You hid your weed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
whoa,
I had
I didn't say I did. I said
whoa.
he did.
Why are you putting that on him?
So I did the whole, like, what was it, like Columbia House and like BMGO, where you just had like CDs coming in all the time.
Of course.
So I had a couple of binders that were like 200 CDs a piece easily. So I was like, okay, I got this. Not organized at all. And so I was sitting there freaking out when I had like 30 seconds left in a song, and I'm flipping through this binder trying to find a CD to put in.
Where is the Macarena?
Exactly.
People like Garth Brooks, right?
So that's how I got it started. After college, got away from it, and then met a couple of guys who had a band and they needed a drummer. So I joined their band, and we did like local, like New Mexico music. It was a lot of fun. Played at the state fair, things like that. And then one of the guys started doing like DJ stuff on the side. He asked me if I wanted to help him. So I was like, all right. So this was like maybe 7 or 8 years after I had been not doing it.
Right.
And then started helping him do different random gigs, and realized that I don't like DJing with somebody else. And so I just stopped going.
I prefer singles tennis over doubles. I get it.
Yeah. So later on, after I left that band, started a new band, and I had now all this equipment of my own. And so I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And so little things here and there. Pretty soon I'm doing a crap load of just people's private parties, things like weddings and whatever. And my sister at the time, actually she's still there now. She's on the Dean of Student Staff. She basically runs the Residence Life program.
Yep.
And she said, hey, do you want to DJ some stuff at UNM for us? And I'm like, all right. So I start doing some of the dorm stuff, and that leads me into doing stuff for student activity. So I'm doing all of the new student orientations. I'm doing stuff like homecoming and the big welcome back Friday Night Live, which is like huge. It's like 1,500 students.
Yep.
They're in the sub ball, and I'm doing this big dance for them. So I'm doing that for a few years, and then this comes up, and so I don't really do any of that stuff anymore except for this.
Nice.
I'm sorry to get in
No,
there,
you're good.
but like, and again, we may end up having to burn through and just do a combined segment 1 and segment 2. Because you said something that really, really spoke to me. You talked about they asked you to join this band and then you joined it, but you had more of a classical traditional upbringing. I think I'm very similar to that in percussion, right? Like I don't want to equate my private drum instructor to the guy from Whiplash, but he was really close.
Is it violent?
A little bit.
Oh, all right.
But just very regimented in the way, like, this is the way you play jazz. This is how your things are set up. These are where your hands are. Again, I one of the most memorable moments is a hand came too high off of the hi-hat, drumstick immediately met it with traditional force right back down. And so it was very, very regimented. But one of those like breaking moments for me was when I was done. I was no longer in the organized music programs. I was no longer doing the symphony or the jazz bands or anything like that. But I did run into some quote unquote rockers who were like, we're looking for a drummer. Do you want to come and hang out with us? And I was like, I don't know how good I'm going to be, guys. Like, I'm not necessarily a rocker. And they're like, yeah, just come out and see how it's going to happen. And I just remember the minute they turned those amps on and those things started humming, and they're not even really doing anything, right? They're kind of just noodling around. They're making sure the instrument's hot, but just the sound of an electric guitar, the sound of the bass walking up and down. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I think I'm going to go animal mode here. And so I had, and I had the chops, and we went into it. And I will never remember like that first like jam you ever really have. Your heart never stops beating.
Where was that at? Like, were you in a studio? Were you in somebody's garage?
I was in someone's living room.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how you do it in Portales. Is you're like, we don't need a couch or a TV or places for our family. Let's put all of our musical instruments in here.
And that's how it was for me too. Like the first time when I played with them, and it was in my buddy's garage. Just the minute the amps and everything came on, and I heard the guitars, I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun.
I'm feeling something.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
See, I was never in a proper like band. I mean, I was in like marching band and concert band and all that kind of stuff, but I was never in a band. I was also a percussionist. Played a bunch of the different like the pit orchestra stuff.
Yep.
My favorite instrument I ever played, I don't know if you guys had a favorite one that you guys played, but I loved playing timpani.
Oh my gosh,
it's so much fun. The big old kettle drums, for those who don't know,
the drama of it when you like when you get a timpani part, you're like, I'm gonna be a big part of it.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. But you learn a lot, and I've had this conversation before with friends. You learn a lot of the same things that you learn in sports as being part of a band. You learn teamwork, you learn supporting your team, you learn not necessarily being the center of attention all the time and falling back and allowing somebody else to shine, all these different things. What would you say you have learned and taken away from your dive into musicality, right? And that can be at the high school, middle school level, or that can be what you've done in your adult life as a DJ or somewhere in between?
It's a good one. You
know what? I honestly, I would say that it's made me the listener that I am. So if somebody is conversing with me, paying attention to what they're saying, and maybe if there's any like meaning behind it, or if there's a conversation between a few people, trying to listen what people are saying, because as a musician, not only do you need to hear what you're doing, but you need to listen to what other people are doing too, because the dynamics may be different. It may be the way they're playing it. Like for me, playing with not like, the orchestra or like the marching band or whatever, in the more intimate bands, the first thing I clicked was the bass player. Like a lot of times I got my cues from the bass player. And so listening to them,
you can always hear it underneath. Always.
But also too, when I was going back to getting exposed to jazz at an early age, I read a really good book. Wynton Marsalis wrote a book.
I love Wynton Marsalis.
Maybe it's On Higher Ground or Higher Ground. Anyway, this whole book is talking about conversation relating to music. Like basically jazz is conversation. Like you're listening to this person and then you're responding to that person, right? When you do like maybe your solo or like maybe your, the counter melody or whatever. And that stuck with me at a really early age, when I was listening to jazz, and then the way my band teacher told me like how to perceive it. And then it just was reinforced by this book. But then I realized how much jazz influences other things. Like in the early 90s, you take some iconic like hip hop albums, you take like, Low End Theory, Tribe Called Quest. And then right after that, trying to think of the name of the album, but it's Diggable Planets. I can see the album right in front of me. It's like a powder blue or like a light purple. Just those jazz hooks that they use, and just, the jazz melodies, and also too, just the bass line. It's like really, to me, that's how I was exposed to real hip hop, with that merge with like jazz.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I was reading something the other day. I don't remember specifically what it was, but they said jazz was the first music genre that encourages people to play the wrong note. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, he played the wrong note. No, that was actually the perfect.
Explored something new.
Yeah. And there's just, to me, it is a disconcerting like sort of genre. Like it to me is not the genre you put on when you need to focus.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's different genres of jazz.
Sure, there's smooth jazz. Exactly. There's different things, but like you get someone like Miles Davis,
sure,
and you're trying to write a press release like you do all the time. That's never going to happen, right? Absolutely. Or it's going to be maybe the greatest press release you've ever read.
Miles is really good to cook too. I like cooking. Miles Davis.
I do like to cook. I'm going to try that. I love that.
Oh yeah.
We got a bunch of folks in the chat.
Let's go.
Stacy says that's my boo. Which is correct.
No, he's my boo, Stacy.
Oh,
I called him.
Fight physically. Robert Romero, I love this comment. I might ruin it for everybody, but DJO has gotten my 60-year-old ass moving to his excellent musical abilities. Love that. Chanel says DJO is one of the biggest supporters and volunteers for the Somos Unidos Foundation, so thank you for that. Gonna keep going through. What's DJ? Here's a question for you from Tyler Ortega, who also mentioned is a first chair low brass trombone. Another music dork. Welcome in. Tyler says, what is DJO's favorite vinyl in his collection?
Oh boy,
that's a good question. I like that.
Great question.
Tough. I know mine, so I'll let you go first.
Oh man, that's tough. I think it might be a tie.
Okay, that's fine.
So I do have the Low End Theory from Tribe Called Quest. I absolutely love it. By the way, it's a must-have on vinyl if you don't have it. But going back to jazz, there's an album called United We Swing, and it's basically the best of the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra with Wynton Marsalis. And he recorded shows that he played with all of these spectacular artists. Like he has a recording on there that he did with John Mayer. There's another recording he did with Natalie Merchant, another one with Ray Charles, and like all these Willie Nelson, all these wonderful artists that they do these, special one-off performances at these galas, but he recorded them all and he pressed it into a vinyl. It's called United We Swing. It's fantastic.
I'm like adding a collaborative super.
I'm adding that to the list right now. United We Swing. I need to check that out.
Well, you check that out. What's yours, Dave?
I've also got a tie. I've got Dead Presidents by Jay-Z. It's one of my favorite albums ever, and it's so much better on vinyl. And then Flaming Lips, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. Those are
both killers. I only have one, and it's so basic that I just expect a collective sigh across the board. But it is literally the best album on vinyl, which is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I thought you were going to say the White Album. Those are like the two that people always say. But Rumors is wonderful. It's a great album.
Yeah, I got the joy of watching Guardians of the Galaxy with my youngest this weekend.
Such a good one.
Is
the new one out?
The new one is out, but we went back and watched number 1.
I need to watch. I need to go see the new one because I love the first 2.
But what it got me thinking about was number 2, which is where they have like one of the most iconic scenes ever based on the chain from Fleetwood Mac. And like that just randomly came on a playlist this morning, and I was like, this album is 10 out of 10.
So you just talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it's the first movie when they're playing Redbone.
Yep.
Come and get your
spoiler alert.
And he's coming out dancing. I have that vinyl also.
That's awesome. Yeah. We're going to Austin this week for the Open Cup, and we can talk about a little bit more about that in a little bit. But going to Austin, one of the most iconic record stores in the entire country is over there, and I am now blanking on the name, which doesn't make it sound very iconic.
How iconic is it?
DWC. Hold on.
Come on, pull it up. You got this.
God, I'm
helping out, DJ. Your favorite record store.
Tyler, you're in the chat. We were talking about it earlier today. Hold on.
My favorite record shop I've ever been to was in New York City, right near
Waterloo Records. Waterloo. We're gonna go there.
Nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's great. It was near NYU, kind of in that student area. I don't remember the name of it. I wish I did, but it was fantastic. It was really cool.
Back in the day, I used to love going to Empire Records. They made the movie, but it was a regionalized chain, and I used to love going there all the time. I would swear I would get my posters. And as a kid, I lived it's kind of like teenage years. I lived in the attic. We had like an attic room, a finished attic, and that's where my bedroom was. And so I had like my parents raised me on like Pink Floyd and the Doors and stuff like that. So I had like the Dark Side of the Moon poster, the very cliche. I had The Wall, and I had Morrison Hotel and all those posters up on the wall. And yeah, I used to love going to those record shops. I miss record shops. Yeah, there's not that many of them around anymore.
And I just want to point this out, and this is a very loaded question because I know what your answer is going to be at the end of it. But I look at this 13-year-old kid I have. He has all the access to technology in the world. Last year, top of the list gift he has to have is he has to have a turntable.
Yeah,
and he wants to start bringing it in. So like,
that's awesome.
How does that feel to see that like circularly come back around? And now all of a sudden, I could get everything I wanted on Apple Music. No problem to that. Listen to all the music you can, but there's this real draw to having that like tactile thing there. And there's just something about the record going around.
Right. And some of my nephews, my nieces, they're starting to collect now also. And I just think it's really cool that now you can go to Walmart or Target, and in the music section you see vinyl.
So last year was the first year, and I don't remember how many years, but it was the first year in a very long time that vinyl outsold CDs. CDs are slowly dying, but vinyl is now coming back, which is great. It's a fuller sound. It's more fun. There's an experience to it. That's not to hate on CDs at all, but they're a dying medium, and vinyl's coming back, which is fun to see. We got a lot more in the chat here, including a few people.
This is our podcast, people.
No, this is great. I love this. Please keep sending them in here. Jim Painter says US3 is a good jam. Robert Romero submitted his favorite vinyl of all time, which is Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa.
Beautiful.
Linnea Romero, shout out Linnea, who is here in the room with us, says Graceland by Paul Simon is the best vinyl album of all time. Love that.
Another great shout.
Linnea has always been a Paul Simon fan.
But she doesn't care for Garfunkel? What did Garfunkel ever do to you, producer Linnea?
Chanel says Folklore, which is not surprising. She says she's been on a kick since she went to the show. And then Subliminal Man. This is interesting. Go to Long Hair Records. Such a great record store. Is that here locally in Albuquerque? Subliminal Man. I would love to learn more if that is the case. I would love to find a place. Oh yes, Gabriel Ortiz. You're After My Own Heart. Wildflowers by Tom Petty. That was our wedding song, Gabriel. That was the song that Chanel walked down the aisle to. So you are very much after my own heart with that one.
Might be my brother.
Oh, okay, yeah. I love that. Wildflowers by Tom Petty is one of my top 5 songs of all time.
That was a beautiful moment too. Chanel walking down the aisle.
Yeah, I cried a lot. Linnea says Charlie's Records and CDs is a good shop in Uptown. Subliminal Man says that Long Hair Records is on San Mateo. So I need to check that out. I will check that out. We had a lot of music lovers in the chat today. I love that. That's really great. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more, including our stupid, silly games.
Yep. It's a 2-segmenter today, guys.
Yeah, just longer segments. I don't mind that. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stick around. Welcome back into United Sessions, segment 2, episode 15, season 3. We are joined by the incomparable DJO David Ortiz, DJ in residence for The Curse for the last several years.
I love that title.
DJ in residence.
Should we get him some business cards?
Take it. Yeah, we'll get you a little Shield business cards. I like those. I'm still waiting on mine with my updated name on that.
Well, you'll get them in about 2.5 years.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Well, yeah, great first segment. Really enjoyed talking music. We're going to continue to do that a little bit. For those of you in the chat, keep them coming. Been a really active chat tonight. Really love that. If you guys have questions for Mr. Ortiz, if you have ideas, questions, suggestions, places we should go to get records, favorite albums,
any of it,
favorite apple pie recipe, whatever you want to throw in there.
We're just mining all of this data for paid social ads later. So please, the more you can share, street you grew up on, name of your first pet.
Don't include that information, please, for your sake.
Or do.
Or no, don't. Also want to give a quick shout out to Raising Cane's, new partner for New Mexico United. They are opening up their first location here in Albuquerque. Lucas has the plastic bag that he's holding in front of everybody. Great for audio for the podcast here, just a crinkling plastic bag. But new partnership. If you know me, you know I love Raising Cane's and have for a long time. I've driven 4 hours for Raising Cane's. But yeah, new partner.
Well, you used to have a deal with Tina, right? Like
yeah,
you guys
so
would
Tina
meet
and I,
halfway.
when the Curse beer came out, I told Tina and I, so Tina really wanted some of the beer. She lives down in Las Cruces, for those of you who don't know. Great. Shout out Tina. She wanted to try some of the new beer. And I was like, all right, I'll pick you up some of the beer. You drive up. I'll drive down. You bring Cane's. I'll bring beer. We met halfway. I brought my dog. She brought her dog. We went for a little hike. We had Cane's and beer. It was the best.
That's the Black and Yellow family
It
right there.
was so much fun.
In a microcosm.
That was really, really fun. But yeah, so shout out Cane's for providing us with dinner tonight. They officially open tomorrow at their 4800 Montgomery location.
Yes. Great location.
Yes.
Great location without doxing myself. And letting people
it's a really, really good location for some of us.
Really close to where some people live. Not me.
Anyway, want to dive into a little bit more kind of about the United experience. First of all, this week, New Mexico United traveling to, let me turn this background music off. New Mexico United traveling to Austin FC, guys, for the Open Cup, round of 32. It is the 4th time we have ever played.
Feels like MLS magic all over again. I'm ready.
We're 2-1 all time, traveling to Austin. A bunch of us from here in the front office will be traveling, which we're really excited about as well. Having fans out there, and you can watch the match on Bleacher Report as well if you are not traveling. So you can watch it on the Bleacher Report app, or you can watch it on YouTube. Bleacher Report,
and that's good information because we're used to ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
We're used to Estrella on a couple of them, and this is pretty much the exclusive home of this one.
Right. And the reason I bring that up, other than being excited about it, is we talk about that 2019 run a lot. We talked about it's so much fun. We went to the quarterfinal. It was a blast. It was our first season. Was that the moment you got hooked? You mentioned you kind of came to the second or third game and you were like, okay, I'm really interested in this. But I know so many people found their way into this club like in a more serious way as a result of that run.
Right. I was really invested in that Open Cup run. Like that's when I really got on board. And then I was like on pins and needles. Like I was, yelling at the top of my lungs when, we got that win in Colorado. And I was like, that was amazing.
I cried. I was in the stadium and I cried.
I don't know that we have any other picture of Peter Trevisani openly weeping.
Yeah.
But we got it on that one.
Yeah. I was hooked. I was all in.
Well, and I think that's true across the board. Like, shout out to our amazing radio partners, ESPN Radio 1017, the team. Like, that was the moment. Like, I remember how excited Joe O'Neill was in those conversations. Like, as we were leading into that Dallas match, he's like, so you're telling me we win this one? No, actually, it went back even further. It was the second round that we played against
Phoenix. Colorado Springs.
And then round 3, we did Phoenix. And he was like, we beat this. We get to play an MLS team. And I was like, yeah, Joe. And he was like, I'm in. Yeah, I'm hooked 100%. I want to rewind a little bit back to the like philosophy of music point that you made earlier, which was like you learned other skills that are a part of that, right? You learned how to be a better listener as a result of the music. And I think we see a lot of those parallels, like DWC pointed out, between being a soccer supporter, being a music person. And then I think the third vein of all of that is just being a good person. Like, and I know I'm like I have a specific axe I want to grind right here. Why do kids need to play music and be exposed to music and have it around?
Great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I think there's lots of reasons. One, I haven't had, it didn't really pertain to me, but apparently it can help kids with mathematics. And I've heard,
when you say it doesn't pertain to you, you mean you're just bad at math?
Well, it wasn't the best, but it I didn't really see any correlation with my, music. And then I'm sure there was some maybe subliminally, but I didn't really see it. But I've heard people say, yeah, my kid, as soon as they started learning how to play piano, their math scores got way better, things like that.
Just opens up those synapses in your brain, maybe.
Sure. And I just think that every kid, every young person, when they're developing, needs to have those creative, nerves stimulated. You need to, put a paintbrush in their hand, give them a beginner guitar, give them a pair of drumsticks and a practice pad. Or, if you see a child that wants to, it's hard to explain. You can see the ones that kind of lean towards music and the ones that really are they don't really care less. But any art, I think, should be nurtured within the child.
Here.
Yeah, no, I think it has so many tendrils, and the one I would add to answer my own question, which is the worst thing to do as an interviewer, but the big thing that I've seen is generational connection, right? When I understood the music that my grandparents liked, when I understood the music that my parents liked, I understood a lot more about their context and who they were. And like, again, it's so fun to look at these authority figures who've done nothing but yell at me for being too loud at the Thanksgiving dinner. And then they put on a song and you can instantly see they're moved by it.
Let me take it a step further. It's not just generational, it's cultural.
Yes.
So, it's very similar to sport and to soccer in that way, right? You may not speak the same language. You may not have grown up with any of the same things, have any of the same cultural references, but when a song is played and you're both jamming, you're speaking the same language.
Yep.
When you're both cheering for the same soccer team, you're both kicking a ball, you're speaking the same language. And that is the beauty of sport, and it's the beauty of art. It's the same thing if you're looking at a beautiful painting.
Right.
Everybody can interpret it in a million different ways, but if I'm standing next to somebody who speaks a different language, is raised completely differently, different religion, different everything, but we can both stand there and love a painting and get lost in it. That's the beauty of art and sport.
It's the culmination of it.
Amen.
We talked about it from day one. So again, really, really heady, beautiful, emotional point to segue.
Stupid silly game time.
Just stupid.
Let's do it.
I don't know why it always happens. Why are you always so like philosophical and poetic right before we have to do this?
Because it's fun. That's what makes it fun. Hold on. Nobody is listening to this podcast for our awesome takes, Lucas. Everybody's listening to this podcast for the great interviewees rather.
Yeah.
And the stupid silly game.
Well, my mom has specifically told me she listens to this podcast for your great takes.
Oh.
So you're very wrong.
Thanks.
She said, "Mom, what about me?" She said, "You're there."
You are also on the show. My mom also said the same thing about me. So we're good. We're good.
You're winning it. All right. Tonight's stupid silly game, brought to you by Raising Cane's, is titled DJ O or DJ No.
Did Raising Cane's just get a free segment sponsorship?
Yeah, you're darn
Let's
right they
did. Go on, Cane's. All you got to do is give us chicken. This is the best.
That's more collateral than we've gotten in a sponsorship deal than anything else.
Go on, Cane's.
I hope I didn't upset partnerships with that. Raising Cane's could be like, nope.
No, we do not want to touch the 10-foot pole.
We did not have anything to do with that.
Raising Cane's is not responsible for the content of this podcast.
And it's called DJ O or DJ No. So despite the really well thought out title, this is a pretty simple game. I'm going to say things, statements, and sometimes single words. Your response will either be DJ O, which means yes, I like that thing, or I agree with that statement. Or your response will be DJ No, which means no, I don't like that thing, or I disagree with that statement.
I have two things to say.
We good?
I have two things to say. First of all, please participate if you want to in the chat. Hang out with us. Give us your DJ or DJ No on each of these. Black Diamonds, quick shout. The Curse and Black Diamonds are hanging out at Tin Can Alley on Wednesday. Make sure you let Tin Can know, Black Diamonds, that it's on Bleacher Report so they can pull it up. It's not going to be on ESPN Plus. But yes, if you're hanging out here in town, go hang out with Black Diamonds and the Curse over at Tin Can Alley. Have a great time.
A little tech troubleshooting. We can help you out.
Second thing I wanted to say is Lucas, this is a direct ripoff of Rivasari Novas that we did a couple episodes ago.
Okay, you actually brought that up when I did this. And those were situational.
Okay.
Right? These are more like value judgment.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think they're wildly different games.
All right. Wild. I don't know about wildly different. They might be slightly different.
I think Me More or He More was actually closer to
It's
Rivas
the
or
same
Novas.
game every week.
No. This is DJ O or DJ No.
This is so different. Leviosa, not Leviosa. All right. All right. DJ O or DJ No. Lucas, you want to do number one?
Yes.
Do it.
DJ O or DJ No. Crocs in general.
DJ No.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to be making any friends with Kalen Ryden and Daniel Bruce. So
yeah, they're like the Croc
ambassadors.
Yeah,
Croc ambassadors. There you go. I guess we should give our answers too. In chat, feel free to give yours.
I'm fine with Crocs. I don't have any, but they seem to be functional, and I'm fine with them.
May I ask for a point of clarification before I give my answer?
Yes.
Is this for me or for anybody?
Let's go with for everybody.
For everybody, yeah, whatever you want. I don't care.
I was answering for me, but
yeah.
I think it should go for everybody.
Yes, I love that. There's some solidity in that. Yeah, for me, yeah, wear your Crocs. It's not my thing. Not my thing. Funny thing I saw about Crocs recently on the internet, so you know it's true. You guys ever see the movie Idiocracy?
Yes.
It's a great film.
It's becoming a little bit too scary and true every day.
So it was a satire that was created in the late 90s, early thousands. I think it was
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge. That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. So essentially the premise of that movie is that it's set in the future. Everybody's an idiot. They elect an idiot president. They do all idiot things. Everybody's dumb and fat, and the world is going to come to an end because there's a bunch of idiots. The guy goes into the future to try and save the world. That's the premise of the movie. Right. When they were making that movie, Robert Romero says Idiocracy is now a documentary. Yeah, you're not wrong. But when they were making that movie, they needed outfits for the extras. And so Mike Judge or whoever was doing costumes, when they were trying to look for shoes, and they found this small company who like just starting up, and they made these ridiculous, weird looking shoes. And he's like, these are so stupid. Nobody will ever wear those. We want to make people look like idiots. Let's put them in these shoes. They were Crocs.
Oh no.
And so everybody, if you go and watch Idiocracy, all the extras are wearing Crocs.
Stay with us, Crocs lovers. So, we have one more Croc related point.
Which brings us to number 2. If you said number 1, no, so emphatically, I think you're gonna say no to number 2 as well. But socks and Crocs,
absolutely not.
There you go. It's
like socks and is it the Tevos? Remember the sandals?
Yep.
No
strap sandals.
Yeah, no.
All right. So as your resident flirty in the room, I love socks and sandals. I don't care what anybody says. I don't like Crocs personally, but socks and sandals are my ish. Absolutely. Little slides with the little flap over the top.
Okay, yeah.
That's my thing.
I'm speaking in the hypothetical here because again, I am not a Croc owner. If I were, I think there would be a practicality to having socks on.
I agree.
They seem
we're both nerds though.
They seem to be made out of a material that would encourage
sweat. Yeah, sweat. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Are they like vinyl? They seem like they're like vinyl with like fluff in the middle.
They're made out of something.
Robert Romero, Birkenstocks and socks. This guy gets it. From California. Birks and stocks. All right, number 3, Lucas.
DJO.
Oh, your wife does not approve of Crocs. Important to note.
Good thing. That's called compatibility, brother.
Right. If it wasn't for that, it wouldn't work out.
DJO or DJ No. The use of red or green chili in candy.
I'm going to say DJO.
Oh, you're for it.
Yeah.
All right.
I've had some really good peanut brittles.
Red chili peanut brittle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some chocolate. So I just spaced the name of the company. They do that Timmy Crack Corn that you see like at all the chili festivals and wine festivals. It's called Timmy Crack Corn. It's a local chocolate company. And they have tons of like chili infused chocolates, which are fantastic.
Do they have the physical location on Lomas?
It's a
Elixir Boutique.
Elixir Boutique. Yeah.
There you go.
So they're over there.
Shout out Elixir
Boutique. Near
chocolates.
Montano in the freeway, kind of by Top Golf.
They partnered up with Selena's Biscochitos.
Yep.
That question brought to you by Elixir.
Look at that. Stacy has it right there in the chat. Elixir chocolates. I agree. I'm a big fan of chili in candy. Chanel is a huge fan. That's like her favorite thing. She loves chili and candy. If you guys ever get the chance to go to Crazy Bomb Cups, I don't know if you guys ever had the chance to do that. That is just basically you get a giant cup full of sweet things and chili together. It could be fruit. It could be candy. It's a lot of sugar and chili, and it's pretty dang good. Tahini on there and good stuff.
They have not, to my knowledge, made a red chili gummy bear yet.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Robert in the chat, tahini gummy bears are the absolute stuff that I cannot say.
Watch your profanities, Robert.
Watch your profanity. I have not had a tahini gummy bear, but I would absolutely eat that. All right, producer Linnea. Come over here, producer Linnea. Hold on. Come on. Yep. Come on. We got an extra mic today. Something to tell the people.
I told you.
For everyone in the front office, we have tahini gummy bears at the retail space.
And if you're not in the front office, that stinks for you.
No, just go to the front office.
Yeah,
and
we'll
like,
give you some.
We were listening to the podcast.
I very much want to try these tahini gummy bears. That sounds great, particularly if you get like a melony flavor, like a watermelon with tahini. That would be good. All right, I'm muting Linnea's mic again.
Get out of here, Linnea.
What's your take on tahini? Excuse me, chili and candy.
For it.
All right.
I'm for whatever people think are great.
All right, DJ O or DJ No, number 4, cilantro.
Absolute DJ No.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Am I the only? Jay, do you like cilantro? It's acceptable. All right, so we have in the room, there are 5 people in the room right now. We have 3 emphatic no's in DJ O, Lucas, and Linnea. Jay could not be asked. He does not care. I love cilantro. I had cilantro on a taco for tacos for
there
lunch
was so
today.
much cilantro
There was
on that.
too much cilantro. I love cilantro. That was a lot.
I was like,
I'm one of the ones that get a real like distinct soapy.
So both of you guys are that. Yeah.
We got the gene.
You're the two
It's
Linnea?
genetic, brother.
You guys are mutants. Yeah. That stinks for you.
Yeah, why couldn't I get sweet mutant powers as opposed to having like a
Yeah.
staple of Mexican food tastes like soap to me?
Gabriel Ortiz just giving really good advice just in general. Avoid Colorado chili candy. You could have taken candy off of that. Avoid Colorado chili,
In
period.
general.
But you're right. You're 100% right, Gabriel Ortiz. Tito Morales, saludos. Hello. Welcome into the stream, buddy. All right, number 5, Lucas.
DJ O or DJ No? Miracle Whip is better than mayo.
You will be judged
Big time.
one way or the other.
This is almost the biggest 50-50 split.
This is the biggest argument
United.
RJ Montano and I ever had on the Curse Cast. And I feel very strongly about my position on this. I will walk out if you say the wrong answer. And then the podcast is yours.
I'm gonna have to say DJ No. I like them both. And I use them in specific
You
applications.
flip flopper, spineless. No, I'm just kidding. Go
You
ahead.
fence sitter.
Was there a DJ Meh?
DJ,
Yeah, we could go with
DJ,
that. You like them both.
So I prefer regular mayonnaise on like a club sandwich or
Okay.
like a hamburger,
Uh-huh.
but I absolutely prefer Miracle Whip like in tuna salad.
Okay.
It's
You've upset DWC.
I really like you as a human being, and I don't want to fight you physically, mainly because I'm not very good at fighting. But Robert Romero, I think, said it perfectly here in the chat. Miracle Whip is an abomination unto the Lord. That's correct.
Tell us how you really
That
feel.
is absolutely correct. Mayonnaise is wonderful. You mix mayonnaise, make whatever you want to make with it. It's great. Mayonnaise should not be sweet, you heathens. It's disgusting.
Get him. Get him in the chat.
No.
Some people like Miracle Whip. Man.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They're just ignorant.
It's a whip made out of miracles.
Wow. They made with real miracles. How do you feel about it? What's your DJ or DJ No on this?
If I say Miracle Whip is better than mayo, I'm gonna say DJO.
What the hell is wrong with
sorry,
you?
mate. It's gotta.
Bye.
He's done. He's had enough. The producer Linnea will fill in. He said we've pushed him too far. He's got to go outside and adjust his shoe in an angry fashion. Now he's gonna come back in.
Shame of yourself.
Oh, we are ashamed of ourselves. We're so sorry to do that to you. It's technically your question, so I wanted to hold it for you.
Whatever. Yeah, Robert says, Lucas, no. Chanel put a link to some Crocs in the chat, but we can't click them there. So everybody on Facebook and wherever you can see it, you can go ahead and click the Crocs.
Thanks, producer Chanel.
It says, according to the link, they are strappy Croc wedges. I don't want to click that link.
It sounds like a meal.
Black Diamonds, no, not on a BLT. No Miracle Whip on anything ever, except maybe inside of a trash can. Beyond that, no,
He's gonna die on this.
I thought we were done with this question with the Curse Cast. All right, number 6. Well, yeah, this one's pretty easy, I think. DJ O or DJ No, people who heat up seafood in the office for lunch. Shout out Tyler Ortega, because I know this bugs the hell out of Tyler. And I think he's still in the chat.
I would never do it, so I would say DJ No.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
I put this one in specifically, and I just need to point it out. Jules, I harbor no hate, but she heats up salmon occasionally.
Here's the thing,
which
though.
is not bad.
No, that's a lot better than shrimp.
Yes,
It's a lot better than like mahi or something like
mackerel.
that. Mackerel. Yeah. Who comes to work and heats up mackerel?
Jay Scribe loves mackerel.
Just always bringing mackerel to work, Jay. But to that point, I do want to shout out Jules, because she cooks that seafood. She like meal plans every week.
But she had just heated up right before I walked in today.
So that's why you did it?
She went, oh, no, you're not going to be happy with me.
But she gets super self-conscious about it because she doesn't want to upset anybody. She's like,
it's not bad.
She's eating healthy. She's meal prepping. Shout out, Jules.
It was not bad.
No.
I had no issue with
vein,
it, but it did. I was putting the game together. And
in the same vein, people are maniacs if they reheat stuff that has lettuce and tomato on it.
Just take it off for a second.
I don't understand how people can do that. Like,
yes.
Have you never had a good microwaved tomato?
No, hot lettuce. Is
nothing I love more than hot lettuce with Miracle Whip on it.
Dibs on.
I'm gonna win a bet against you and make you eat hot lettuce and Miracle Whip.
That's the day I quit. It's the day I quit this job.
By the way, Dibs on Hot Lettuce is a band name.
Hot lettuce. We are hot lettuce. Thank you. Good night.
But what about hot lettuce and the Miracle Whips?
The whips.
No.
I like that. That's plural. For the love of God, no seafood in the office microwave. Broccoli or Brussels sprouts are borderline. I don't think they're borderline. I think they're in the same category, Robert. I agree. I'm gonna say DJ O on this. People who heat up seafood in the office for lunch. I know it's not kosher, but again, I got the situation here where Jules is doing her best to meal prep, eat healthy. I got to shout that out. I'm not going to shame that.
Well, and I'm going to go DJO as well, just because I naturally love a punk rock mentality.
Yeah.
And so I love a person who's like, what's up? I want to eat some mackerel for lunch today. Y'all
and I'm going to throw a tomato in the microwave too.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I want. Punk rock.
Roxanne Weesey says, no stinky fish at work or burnt popcorn. That's a good shout.
Yeah,
Save it for your crib with your Miracle Whip. When the barf emoji.
Whoa. The Weesey Carl clan seems united against Miracle Whip.
I don't know. Chanel, you're still in the chat. Where are you on? I don't think we've ever talked about this. We should have figured this out before we got married.
It's too late
Miracle
now,
Whip.
pal.
I know that she's okay with mayo. Linnea shouting out Robert or calling out Robert. Your vegan Gouda being heated up is red card worthy, Robert. Damn.
Vegan Gouda?
That just doesn't sound too bad.
Okay.
All right. We need to move on.
We are behind.
This is what happens when we get into food conversations. Is it my turn or yours?
Yours.
Okay. DJ O or DJ No, clothing on pets.
I'm going to say DJO.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a little Chihuahua who's ancient. He's going to be 19 this winter.
Oh my God.
Literally, he's going to be 19.
That's the Methuselah of dogs.
I was just going to say, is his name Methuselah?
He loves clothes. He loves clothes.
Good.
Yeah.
It's probably because he has like no actual biological functions to keep himself warm.
That might be part of it. That might be part of it.
No. Shout out RJ Montano, who, if he's in the chat, he has a dog named Miles. We affectionately dub him Dr. Poops. Miles is
Dr. Miles Poops.
Yeah. Didn't go to Doggy Poops Medical School to be called Mr. But anyway, Miles, he's a I think he's like a Whippet mix. He's a mutt, like many wonderful dogs. And he is happiest when he has his hot dog suit on. It's just a big old fluffy hot dog. It's like his thunder jacket. He's comfortable. He's happy. He puts on the hot dog suit and he's just, wiggling, happy to see everybody. It's so cute. It's so cute. So I am very much a DJO clothing on pets too. It makes the pets happy. Great. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I'm for it as long as they don't seem uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
And also, it's just hilarious. I know David Weesey Carl, huge Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan. Yes. So does your cat make too much noise?
Mittens for kittens. Brendan Kearns says you got to go DJO on this one. A great black and yellow cape looks amazing on dogs. I can vouch for that. Olivia has had the New Mexico 811 cape.
Shout out NM 811. We're about to get that U23 season rolling.
Yeah, starts on the 20th. That is 12 days from now is the first game up in Taos. We're going to get a bunch of stuff coming out on that real soon.
DJ O or DJ No, the Met Gala or Gala.
You pronounce it however you want.
I've heard it both ways.
DJO pronouncing that however you want.
I'm gonna say DJO. I've seen it where it's pretty cool, and I've seen it where it's absolutely ridiculous. We were lucky enough the time when I was telling you earlier, David, about being in New York. We actually got to go the weekend after the gala, and so they still had the display up of all the
Jared Leto still hanging out in the corner
with his cat suit.
Yeah.
No, but I believe it was the same time that they were doing the filming for Ocean's 8.
Okay.
And so we got to see some of that stuff.
Nice.
But, it was really cool. And that museum is amazing either way, but the display for the attire was really cool.
I'm going to go DJO on it. Again, I know there's issues of opulence. I know that a lot of people take umbrage with how much has gone into it, but I also think it is a beautiful celebration of creativity. I look at it a lot as like a super bougie version of our Meow Wolf night. that they say come as whatever you're inspired to be. Now, you may have a lot more disposable income than a lot of other people, so you have a lot more options, but I do like to see that celebration of creativity. And I think we always forget this at the back end of it because we get so focused on the outfits and who showed up and everything like that. But it is a charitable event.
That's
right.
That was going to be why I said DJO. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't really care about the Met Gala. Yeah, people have fun. Great.
The Jared Leto cat suit.
Yeah, that was funny.
Wins forever.
but I don't really care one way or the other about the Met Gala. But I Googled it while you were talking, and the Met Gala is regarded as one of New York City's largest fundraising events. The Costume Institute has received more than $175 million in donations.
That's amazing.
So that's a DJO for me.
That's amazing.
Helping people enjoy the arts. Absolutely.
Right. Let's do it.
All right, last one, number 9. DJO or DJ no? Using an iPod playlist and an aux cord at your wedding instead of hiring a DJ. If you say DJO, I'd be very confused.
I almost want to say DJ wow. Like
DJ, I'm offended you asked this question.
That's DJ no.
Yeah. I would imagine so.
That's DJ get out of the room, Lucas.
Yeah.
So
learn how to write a question.
Funny story about that. When I was in college, a couple of my friends got married and they did not want to pay for a DJ. I often in college would do like a bunch of like the audio visual stuff, like amateur level, just helping out with events and stuff like that. And they're like, "Can you DJ a wedding?" And I was like, yeah, I could do that. No problem. And so I hooked up, I think it was a laptop and an aux cord. And I had like a couple, I'd have one queued up and then I'd have another one queued. I know what, had a playlist.
Sophisticated.
But the problem was I did not realize right off the bat that I had hit shuffle on the playlist. So it wasn't in order, which is, that's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Where it became a problem was when they paused for whatever events were going on, right? So you stop after a song and they're cutting the cake or they're doing the bouquet toss or whatever it is. After one of those things, I accidentally had like closed out. And so the playlist started over and it's on shuffle.
Big booty girl.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is it starts playing songs that have already played because it's on shuffle. It's not in a specific order.
Right.
And I still remember Leighton Roush. I'm so sorry, Leighton. She looked at me. She's David. Like she's the bride and she's upset. And I'm like, no, I've ruined everything. That has been in my head for years since then.
The
so
Schitt's Creek David. Oh my God, David.
Oh my God, David. But if like the bride is upset at you on the wedding day, that's a problem. That's a real problem.
Yeah,
so it's a big DJ no from me.
Big DJ no there.
And I will
because
never
because
do
of
that
his
again.
own mistakes.
Yeah, it was all my fault. Completely my fault.
Look, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Okay. Your wedding circumstances, you get to decide those on your own.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
it's a general thing. You want to have a playlist and an aux cord, knock yourself
Wouldn't
out.
recommend it.
I'm telling you, having spent a lot of time around this gentleman, he is qualified to do this. He's going to do a way better job than you, as are most of the DJs in the world. And it's just one more thing to take off of your plate. So for that reason, I would say DJ no to doing that. But I'm also not here to judge. Everyone has different circumstances, and maybe you make fire playlists. So more power to you.
Just don't hit shuffle when you don't mean to.
Just make sure shuffle's turned off.
All right, I think you won, DJ or DJ no. Congratulations. Oh, there it is.
Give it up, producers.
Sound effects. Well done. Well done. So we're reaching the end here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. What we do at the end of every episode is we allow the guests to have the floor. Give a shout out to whoever you want, mom, friends,
Whatever cause,
worst enemies you've ever
events
met.
coming up.
Yeah, it could be threats. Whatever you want it to be.
No one has ever used the shout out maliciously. Could you be the first DJO?
Right.
Shout out whoever you want. The floor is yours, Mr. Ortiz.
Thanks. First I'd like to thank my wife Stacy and then all my family. I think several of them are listening. They've always been supportive of me getting to do this. And, like I said, it's not my full-time job. It's not how I go and make money, but I do love to do it. And I appreciate, the people that get to come out to the tailgates and, enjoy what I do out there. But mainly I want to let people know, Albuquerque is such an underappreciated just art scene in general, but specifically for like music. There's so many live acts that happen every single weekend. And it may be somebody that is like me who just loves to do it as a hobby and they're not really trying to, make it professionally, but they love it enough to go spend a Friday night and spend at a bar or something like that. But you might have musicians or songwriters or, people in the business, DJs that really want to make something and maybe that is their livelihood. And so they need the people to go out and see them in order to do that.
Yeah,
and
of course.
So, I just encourage people to go out, when, pull up a local publication, look online, check out the marquees at your, local establishments and, maybe find an artist that, hey, this person sounds like they're pretty cool. Let's go check them out and go have a drink, and they appreciate that when you go in and just, sit there and give them a listen and, and be there.
It costs you nothing.
Yeah.
I could not agree with that more. I cannot count the number of times I've just, we're going to go pick up a quick beer. We're going to go grab a quick bite. And you go in and it's one of the most talented people or groups of people you've ever come across. And like, yeah, just get out there and experience it. And it literally costs you nothing on top of the time that you've already devoted to being there, to sit there. And, I would say even go a step further. It costs you nothing to shout them out on social media if you have someone that you love.
Yeah, retweet something or, share something that you saw on Facebook. But also too, I could say that also for art galleries and for art exhibits and for like, First Friday downtown that's a great event. You go down, there's a lot of people that have their art set up. There's people who make jewelry, and they're down there and they want to share that with you. And so, it's really cool. It's really important to support people like that.
Experience New Mexico art. Sorry.
No, you're good. And ultimately, to that point, more widely, things are successful when you support them. I know that sounds obvious. I know that sounds like, yeah, of course. But if there's something that you care about in this community, whether it's New Mexico United Soccer or local DJs or people who make jewelry or something else, they only exist. They're only successful when they're supported.
Right.
And so, that old phrase, be the change you want to see in the world, well, support the things you want to see in the world. So if that's United, come on out to a game. If that's, your local DJ, find out where they're spinning next and go and cheer them on and have a great time. And again, the more we support these things, the better our city becomes for everybody. Right. Our state becomes for everybody.
Well, and your efforts may be the turning point for someone that they now have something that's so important to their life, right? The first person that united or brought you to a United game, you're always going to remember that person if United's important to you. So yeah, 100%. to that whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. And then shout out to all the SGs at the tailgate and all the people who come out to the tailgate. And if you haven't been out to a tailgate, come out because it's a great time. It's a big party and everybody's having a good time. Just the mood there is really good. Everybody's excited about the match and
someone will offer you a beer,
right?
Food. Absolutely.
And, it's just a really awesome time. So I kind of have, there's an occasional Pete leak. I kind of have a DJO leak.
Oh, let's get ready.
I won't go into detail, but, of course, you're going to get something special for the Pride on the Pitch tailgate. You're going to get something special for, the Meow Wolf night. But there's something else that we're working on for the block party that the SGs are going to.
For the family night.
For the block party. I think it's in August.
Yep.
The summer block party. Yeah.
I think there's going to be something really cool for that tailgate. That's
exciting.
So
okay.
I won't give away too much, but it's going to be big.
I love that. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz, for being here. Had a great time. Again, a couple things before we close up shop. This Wednesday, New Mexico United on the road at Austin FC. Tune in on Bleacher Report on the app or on the YouTube channel for Bleacher Report. And then this Saturday, we're home against Monterey Bay FC. It is family night. Come on out. TJO will be out there at the tailgate lot. Okay. Come say hello. Thank you all for hanging out with us, Lucas. Until then, Somos Unidos.
We are united.